time here, please go ahead and take a look at the other videos if you can. Like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about backup home generators. So there's a few different ways to do it. The way that I have is one of the safer ways, I think, as far as keeping the people that are working on the power line safe after a power outage happens. You're not putting them in danger with some of the ways that some people will hook them up, such as backfeeding. One, it's illegal, and two, if you're utilizing that method, once it hits the pad mount transformer right over here, the 240 volts that you are generating turns into 7,200 volts out on the line. So it's a huge issue for the linemen that are trying to get the power back on, and something we definitely don't want to do. So today I'm going to talk about my setup that I've got here at the house. It's a Furman tri-fuel. It's got 7,500 watts on gas. Propane is 6,500 watts, and natural gas will be the least at 5,500 watts. So I personally like to run it off of gas because it powers up more stuff, obviously. But you could utilize propane, which I keep as well, mostly because I like to store propane a lot more than I like to store gasoline. So gasoline, of course, a little more volatile. So I'm going to go through the process with you, and if you got comments or questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below, and here we go. So first of all, I drug it out of my garage. I've got the generator set up right here. I've got the cable right there, which is basically a RV cable. It's a 50-footer. Normally I put it kind of behind the fence and run it out here. I've got a receptacle right here. So that goes in there. Pretty much sets up just like you would with your RV. Screws right in there, and then of course we've got the plug-in right here. So once you've got all that in place, then you're ready to start up the generator, assuming that the power is already out. Before this, and I'll cover it in a little bit in a different section that I'll patch in there, but you'll want to make sure that all of your switches in your circuit breaker are turned off, as well as the main, okay? You don't want to be pumping it in there if that's not the case. I'll show you a transfer switch as well, which makes it impossible to backfeed the grid. So from this point, we'll go ahead and go inside. All right, so here's my circuit breaker, and it is the 4th of July, so there's going to be some extra noise, which I love. As you can see right here, I've got my transfer switch. Basically, when the power goes out, I'm going to have my main flipped off. I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of my different circuit breakers to all my different circuits, and at that point I can go ahead and press this up, which allows me to turn the generator breaker on, which is a 60 amp breaker, and from that point I can select the different circuits that I'd like to run. So this particular setup won't run my HVAC system, but it will run everything else, and it also allows me to do a couple window units. So you're not going to get everything that you had before, but you'll still be pretty well set up. So I've got everything turned off inside. From this point we'll simulate an outage, and I'll just go through the process right here. So on this unit, it's got the choke is over here. So of course you want to put it on choke. You'll want to select the type of fuel you're going to use. Again, propane will be over to the left. If it's natural gas or gasoline, that'll be basically straight up. And then you'll cycle to the gasoline right here, and then this one has two options to start it. It's got an electric power starter, and also like a pull cord off like a normal engine. So here we go. So I've got the generator going right now. I'm going to go ahead and I've got all my circuits off. I'm going to flip off the main. Go ahead and do my transfer switch right here, and now I've flipped that on, and I can go ahead and start to select circuits that I want to turn on. Alright, so at this point I've got everything powered up off the generator, like I said, except for the AC, and utilize some window units to just get past that. So we just plan for keeping a couple bedrooms cool, and basically we can use everything else in the home. So I built this platform. It's actually the second one I've built, but I keep it out here pretty much all storm season. It just makes it really easy for when we do have an outage. I can go ahead and toss in, I've got a 12K window unit. You pop it right in there, and it's got a little bit more support at the bottom, so just makes things a little bit easier. Doesn't put as much stress on the window. Again, pretty simple design, works really well, and just sits up there. I went ahead and burned it, the Shoshujibon kind of technique to preserve it as well. May toss like a Varathane coat on it, but for now it's fine. And again, just sits out here during hurricane season, and makes it kind of quicker to deploy that window unit.